Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 22 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Dun 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 dun. I'm just doing a couple things today. Hey skeleton, how's it going? See a creeper over there. I don't want him showing up as I'm doing things. That was close. Did that feel close to you guys? That felt close to me. I see a skeleton with an awesome arrow. Unbreaking 2. Sweet. Let's sort that stuff. Meow, meow, meow. See you later, everything. Hey, look, I got this thing cleaned up and nice looking. It's not too bad. It's not as nice as I would like it to be, but it works. So basically what I did was I placed my power monitor up here. If you guys remember last episode, we were having a little bit of trouble getting this to work with the phantom face. And I did a little testing with it. I think it's just a cross-mod compatibility issue between Ender.io and Actually Editions. I don't know which side it's on, but hopefully they'll get figured out. Long story short, remember when we had the phantom face in the ceiling last episode and we had the capacitor down here? The capacitor wasn't feeding energy into the laser that was on the phantom face. I tested swapping out the capacity bank with a coal generator from Actually Editions, and it worked just fine. So that tells me that feeding energy into a laser system with energy faces, totally fine. So the problem must be specific to capacitor banks tied to phantom faces. So by having the capacitor bank in the ceiling, we can totally feed energy into it from our phantom face here, and then the laser can feed energy to the network just fine. And I've also got this thing configured to output on the top. Everything seems to be working beautifully. We can see we're sending power, right? So this thing's draining power. And then I've got this guy set and configured to be when it drops below 75%, emit a redstone signal. And then when it's above 90%, turn off that redstone signal. So that turns on and off these things. And everything works great. So it's working and it looks pretty good in my opinion. The only downside is our canola press has no power. Because if I feed power directly from this hookup, it basically makes our oil generators run all the time when they shouldn't. And I can't get energy out of the phantom face because that's a weird thing that's happening. It's pretty much what was happening upstairs. So I have to figure out a way to power my canola press again. And hopefully at some point I'll figure out how that's going to work. I will figure out a solution to that at some point. But other than that, everything's working. See? This thing, we're draining some power, we're filling it up, and it's filling itself back up, and we're good. So everything's working great. I got no complaints. So that is not a bad looking power system. And we've actually got a decent amount of power going on in our life right now. This thing generates about 1,000 RF a tick. I think we're getting to the point though where I'm going to want to start automating more and more things. And in order to automate more and more things, I'm going to have a system that can both store all the stuff that I want and do some auto crafting for us, because a lot of what I'm going to want to automate are things like this, where we automatically create our crystallized seeds, and this thing to create the seeds that we need, and keeping a certain amount of seeds over here inside these blocks and all that good stuff, right? So long story short, what we're looking to do is keep a bunch of things stocked. And the best way to do that is probably to tie together all the inventory storage and auto crafting that we're going to need. So we've got 2 mods in the Direwolf20 pack that can handle this for us. And those are Refined Storage and Applied Energistics 2. So Refined Storage is a mod that was based conceptually off of some of the concepts that Applied Energistics 1 had. Applied Energistics 2 is a more complex mod, where Refined Storage is a more simple mod. But when I say simple, that doesn't mean that it can't do all the things that Applied Energistics can. It can. It's just less complex. Applied Energistics 2 has more complexity into it. A lot of people find the complexity of Applied Energistics 2 fun, and some people find the complexity of Applied Energistics 2 frustrating and annoying. I personally like the complexity of Applied Energistics 2, but I know some people don't. So that's the main reason that I put both mods in the pack. They both serve a very similar purpose, and that purpose is the ability to store items in an energy-based network. It requires RF to run, so we're going to have to power the system. But it'll replace the need for chests, and it'll allow us to compact our storage room. We can also use all the items that are going to be stored in one of these 2 systems for auto crafting, stocking, and all kinds of other cool stuff. stuff. And we can tie it in with a bunch of storage drawer type things and a couple other mods, like, you know, over here, to make sure that everything's behaving the way we want it to. At the end of the day, one of these two systems is going to be used for our storage system. Which one is it going to be? Well, you guys have seen me do applied energistic systems many times in the past. With that in mind, I'm probably going to go refined storage so you can take a look at it and see how it works. And we can do that in a Let's Play series. You guys have seen me play with both in Forgecraft style series, right? If you watch both series. But some people only watch the Let's Play series, and I want to make sure that we tutorialize it, so we're going to make sure to go through the refined storage system in the Let's Play format. We will probably get to applied energistics later on in the season, because at some point I'm going to want to switch over from refined storage to applied energistics, mostly because applied energistics is a lot of fun to build a complex network for. However, we're probably not at the resource level to build a proper applied energistic system, so I think it would be fun to build a refined storage system, use that for a while, and then upgrade later down the line, possibly to an applied energistic system. So with that in mind, we're going to get started today playing with refined storage. I would like to start off by getting a refined storage system to store all our goodies and stuff. Then we're going to probably expand it and add on things like storage drawers. We might even add a couple other things to the refined storage network. And then we'll probably start expanding it out and use it for auto crafting. I'd like to integrate auto crafting of the Empower from Actually Additions, the Atomic Reconstructor, and a bunch of other machines that we have here so that we can basically auto craft everything that we want to make. This is going to make our progression a lot better because it'll mean that we can store things and we can automate and we can expand our base much more quickly if we can auto craft stuff, right? A lot of my time is spent anymore crafting all the complex things. In terms of item transfer and storage, I'm still going to use the laser systems and the laser relays to transfer power around, but we'll probably wind up taking down the item laser relays because we're going to be winding up transferring lasers or transferring items using refined storage. But we'll get to that. Also, there's a little bit of interaction with Actually Additions item laser relays and refined storage, which we'll take a look at as well. So without further ado, let's get started building our basic refined storage system, and then we're going to branch it out. Cool? So I think what I'd like to do is this room right here is currently my storage room. I'd like to turn this into my, let's say, refined storage item access room. So we're going to be able to access all the stuff from all of our refined storage stuff in here. But this isn't where I want to put all the refined storage machines. There's a bunch of blocks that we're going to need from refined storage, and I'd like to have them available somewhere else. With that in mind, I think I'm going to build another basement. So we'll have a basement to this room that will be less frequently accessed. That's probably where we'll wind up having auto crafting systems in place, but we'll get there. Let's get digging down. So let's say, how deep do I want to go here? Is that good enough, you think? One more Y level? Because I want to have a little bit of space. That should be cool. Yeah. And then we'll have, like, just a little bit of space between here and there. All right, cool. So let's kind of clear out this space, and we'll be right back. Let me tell you how much better clearing out large amounts of terrain is when you've got a magnet and a hammer and a drill. It is pretty much, bar none, the best. You know, I totally wasn't planning to do this, but suddenly I decided that I want to do this. I want to make a fun and interesting way to get to my basement. Does that sound cool to you guys? I think that sounds cool. So, I missed. What I want to make is an elevator from RF Tools. This thing's fun. I'm going to need lapis. I'm going to need a couple gold nuggets. Gonna need some iron. Gonna need what else? Redstone, a torch, and an ender pearl. And this should totally be doable. So, machine frame. I have to remember how elevators work. Because, if I'm honest, I don't really remember. Do I have the RF Tools manual? Where's that manual? There it is. Just 4 redstone around a book. That's totally doable. So missed. We've got a book over here. So check out this elevator. It's pretty awesome, if I'm being honest with you. I just have to remember exactly how to configure it. It basically moves entities, including the player, up and down. You need to place elevator blocks at every level, and at one level, make a platform in front of the elevator using solid blocks. Only the bottom elevator block needs power. If one of the elevator blocks gets a redstone signal, then the platform will move there. Easy peasy. The elevator works well with the wireless redstone system and a button screen module so you can control where the elevator goes. We'll do this. In addition, you can use the elevator button module, which allows you to directly control what level the platform goes to. We'll do that. So we're going to need another elevator block. Hey, I made the jump that time. Hooray. So we're going to need 2 of you, we're going to need 2 of you, and we're going to need another one of these, and we're going to need another ender pearl. Good. We're going to need another elevator, which I can just get out of here. You are here. Why do I have a pressure plate on me? Oh, I know, because I broke this floor piece while I was digging out under there. Cool. So what we're going to want is, I think it's here. And here. And then what I should be able to do is create a section of wood that's different from these oak wood planks. Now, when I give a redstone signal to this dude, he should go up, right? So let's give him a redstone signal with a button. And this is going to be cooler in a minute, trust me. Not enough power. I need power down there. Okay, you know what? I'm getting to the point where we have a small need for power in multiple locations, and I feel like let's resolve that. I would like to make a nifty gadget from extra utilities. Because we've started getting into extra utilities, this block right here, where is it? The wireless RF battery is awesome. We're going to need some stone burnt, some blocks of redstone, and a resonating crystal. Not shabby. Let's get some more redstone. Do I have some stone burnt? Maybe. Do I have one of those resonating crystal dudes? It would be in here if I did. Good, I have 6 stone burnt, and I have a resonating crystal, which means we can make one of these bad boys. Cool. This wireless RF battery has the ability to transfer wirelessly a small amount of RF wirelessly in the world. For that, we're going to need... Where's the thing I need? Here it is. Wireless RF transmitter, which is stone burnt and a redstone crystal. Not too bad. So stone burnt and a redstone resonator dude. Cool. So how's it work? Pretty easy, actually. Basically, you just hook up this dude, and he's going to require some power drain from your grid power, so keep that in mind, right? He now stores energy, and we can use him to transfer, like I said, completely wirelessly, a small amount of RF. Yeah, there's stuff in my backpack, that's why. I found, by the way, a bug. If you've got stuff in your backpack and you go shift right-click on a block, you see how that thing kind of vanished there for a second? If anybody's experiencing that, it's being worked on, and I think it's going to be fixed in the next version of the pack. Just FYI. It only happens when you're wearing a backpack, though. All right, so I was saying things. I know what they were. It's this, wireless RF transmitter that I just filtered. Basically, it's really easy. You place it on a wall anywhere, and it'll service any nearby entities or tile entities that can accept RF. And if you right-click on it, you can see what it's servicing. It's pretty cool. Now, it has a limit of 80 RF a tick. So this won't work for most of these machines. These guys all require 100 RF a tick because they've got these fancy upgrades in them. Okay, so it's not going to work for anything beyond the basics. But for this really simple elevator, which we'll call basement, he needs power. And he doesn't have any power. And that's sad. He's probably sad about that. So let's give him some. It's a very small amount that it can feed, but now he's feeding power into there. This is just really nice if you just got this remote location that needs a really small amount of power, and you don't feel like running long cables down just for one little simple block. All right, now let's see if this thing's gonna work. Oh, the elevator's working. Nice. Okay. And then if we want to get down, all we have to do is apply a redstone signal to this dude. And we've got a fancy elevator. Nice. Now let's make this even better. Let's make a screen from RF Tools, which isn't too bad. It's a machine base, which I think is just smooth stone and that. So 3 of you. We're going to want some smooth stone and then a bunch of glass, and that's it. screen, and iron. We've got iron. Just need some glass. Okay. Screens are cool because they can tell you all kinds of neat information, but they can also do stuff automatically for you, right? So this is the screen that we're going to want. We're also going to want a screen controller, which is going to require a machine frame and an ender pearl. See all the cool stuff that needs ender pearls? And for a while there, I didn't have enough. Screen controller. Check. And check. This guy requires power too, but I think what we've got going on down here will be enough to service our needs. So he should be getting power. Nice. We can go ahead and toss our screen. That's right, I filtered that thing. You should be here. Yes. We're going to put the screen right there. Cool. Achievement get. Your vision clears. Nice. I'm probably going to another one of those, but for now, we should be able to interact with this screen. See how it says not connected, no power? We go down to our screen controller and hit scan, and it's going to find one connected screen. Now this screen is connected, which you can see it's no longer warning me about that it doesn't have power, to that screen controller. One screen controller can service many screens. We're going to want an elevator button module. That sounds cool. Ink sac, redstone, and a couple buttons. Should have an ink sac. Should have a couple buttons. Is this what I want? And I think what I do, we're going to name this first floor. Do I like shift right click? Elevator module set to block elevator. Cool. We're going to put this in here. We're going to set it to vertical, large, first floor basement. Cool. Nice. Anything else in here that I can set? Lights, start numbering at 1 instead of 0. No, we can start numbering at 0, right? So basement and first floor, because they're named. Use buttons resembling lights. I don't like the way that looks. No lights. Yeah, it looks good. Button color. Oh, neat. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. All right, so now if I left click on first floor, the elevator should come up. Haha, cool. I love it. You ready? So left click on basement. Whoosh, we're in our basement. Now how do I get back up? I'm gonna need another screen. Probably gonna put it right there. For now, I'm gonna teleport up. So another screen. And we're kind of gonna need another button module. So let's get you and you. And I should be able to make another screen. And I think we'll need another elevator module. There's going to be another ink sac. I'm going to need more of those. To do ink sacs. Now this guy, we did vertical, large, lights, and red. So I'm going to want to duplicate this. So let's put down our screen. We're going to scan. Now we're servicing 2 screens. You need to be shift right clicked on the bottom elevator block. Nice. I might wind up moving this into the wall or something. Yeah, let's do that. So then I can put, let's get some smooth stone for decorative purposes. So this guy's getting power. He's got the 2 screens scanned. Check. You, vertical, large, lights, and red. Nice. Remember, it's a left click. Isn't that cool? So this is kind of like always going to be awesome, right? Like it's always there. It will move any blocks of the same type, which is why I made these separate. I didn't want it moving my entire floorboard down because I think it would do that. I don't know what the limit is on how many blocks it can move, but making these unique blocks is what makes it move this 3x3 pattern that we have going on here. Cool, right? All right, so that was a sidetracked project that I didn't intend to do, but refined storage time? So something you're going to need a lot of when you get into refined storage is this fancy stuff called Quartz Enriched iron. Really, the only way to get it is 3 iron with another quartz. I'm going to do this in stack form. Ta-da! So I'm going to get 4 stacks of Quartz Enriched iron. Nice. You're going to need a lot of it, so trust me. It's not going to hurt. And I still have plenty of iron. I'll go mining between episodes if things get rough. Cool. Quartz Enriched iron is basically the basic building block for almost everything inside this mod. So you're going to need it to make your first item, which is a controller. You're going to need to make it for machine casing. You're going to need all kinds of stuff. Trust me. One of the first things that we are going to make, though, as indicated, is we need some silicon. We're probably going to need some redstone, I'm sure, at some point. And we'll probably need some glass and a few other things. So you can see I'm kind of a mess right now. We want to have better storage and management of inventory, and that's what we're about to work towards. So let's get a machine casing. Cool. And let's get... Oh, I'm going to need a diamond. There we go. Our very first item, the controller. This is the brain of the refined storage network. And if we go down into our basement, we can place it wherever we want down here. Cool. Let's... He's going to be like a centralized brain type thing, but here's probably a good place for it. Now, is he getting power from that nearby thing? He is. So that's good, right? That little energy device, it has about a 4-block range, and this controller is right within about that 4-block radius. He's currently using 0 RS a tick. RS stands for refined storage power. It's basically 1 RF equals 1 RS. So it's the exact same format as RF power. We will, as we expand the system, use probably more than 80. So at some point, we'll be getting power conduits down here. But for now, we're cool. All right. The next item we're going to want to get is a disk drive. Disk drives are what allow us to store items. However, in order to get this, we need to get ourselves a solderer. The solderer is the crafting mechanic of refined storage. So for this, we're going to need probably at least 1 for now. So let's get, do I have anything that resembles a slime ball? That's a question. That is a serious question for serious people. Slime ball. So there are cactus. I don't think I even have cactus, do I? Do I have cactus? I don't think so. Do I have anything resembling a slime ball? So I think there's something I can do for this. Let's go outside. I'm going to make a tree tap from Industrial Craft. Because sticky resin from Industrial Craft will act like a slime ball to make pistons. So if I can go find some sticky resin, and I think I remember saying, hey, there's a rubber tree off in this general direction. Let's see if I'm not lying about that. These are rubber trees. You can find them because of their distinguished little double point on the top. They've got 2 blocks of leaves on the top there, and that's an indication that you're looking at a rubber tree. See this rubber wood? Right-click with the treetop, and you get sticky resin. Only do it once. If you right-click multiple times, you will get multiple sticky resin. But what'll happen is, over a period of time, this little tree tap thing will grow back, and if you over-tap it by clicking too much, it won't grow back. And then you'll be pretty sad. So trust me when I say click it once, no more. Also, you can totally get saplings from these guys. I'm just looking, I guess, both for saplings and for more tree taps. Spots. Okay. So is that enough sticky resin? I could probably use a little bit more. Luckily, there's a couple more trees nearby. Not bad. So that'll do. It's close enough to my base that they'll stay chunk loaded. Yeah, I think that's cool. All right, I've got 6, which is enough for 6 sticky pistons. There we go. I've got iron, and I've got wood, and I've got cobblestone. I should be able to make pistons. Let's make pistons. Let's make 4 of them. Does that sound cool? Now you should work. Yes, I knew it would work. Hooray! And there was much rejoicing. All right, so now that we've got sticky pistons, we can get back to refined storage and make ourselves these things. So 2 of them will do for now. And the reason I'm making 2 is because they're a little bit slow to craft with early on. There are upgrades we can get, but we're not there yet. Placing them next to the controller allows them to have power. And now you can see that we're using 3 RS a tick per solderer, which is a total of 6. So we're already using power in this controller, which means we're already tapping into the energy demands that this block is providing. See? We're losing / gaining power. So now we can make our disk drive, which is pretty easy. We need a machine casing, which you've already seen to make, a chest, and an advanced processor. Advanced processors are printed silicon, redstone, and printed advanced circuits. These things are just diamonds in a solderer, okay? And then for the disk drive, we're also going to need printed silicon, which is silicon in a solderer. So let's get 1 diamond. We've got our silicon. We're going to want to make sure that we have some wood for a chest. Good enough for me. And zoink. Direwell 20. Bell's elevator jumps down instead. So you can go in here, and you can go in here, and see how it's crafting? Hooray! A little bit slow. I'm going to make about, let's make half a stack of these things, because the printed silicon we're going to need a lot of. Trust me. You'll find out soon. Okay? And then we can take one of these and combine it with redstone. Luckily, this supports the shift-click functionality, so it's pretty smart about where it places things when you shift-click them. While that's cooking, why don't I get, for now, a crafting table down here so that I can craft things like chests. But eventually we won't need this thing. And machine casings. So you're done, and then we'll put these things in here. And it should be smart enough to make a disk drive for me, which will be great. So the disk drive can store items called storage disks. There are several tiers of storage disk. Basically, all these different things store a certain number of items. The 1K storage disk can store 1,000 items, right? The 4K storage disk can store 4,000 items, 16,000 items, and 64,000 items. We're going to pop that down right there, and the disk drive currently using no RS a tick because it's empty. This is a big, complicated UI. Trust me, it's amazing all the cool stuff it can do. But for now, we're just going to leave it plain Jane. We're not going to mess with it. But there's a bunch of different buttons on the left-hand side that let you do a bunch of really cool things. And then there's a priority system, which is also super cool and exciting. But we'll get to that stuff. So now we've got a disk drive. The next thing we're going to need are some storage disks. A 1K storage disk will probably do us to get started, but it's not going to last very long. Trust me on that. We're going to need some silicon, redstone, quartz enriched iron, and glass. You know what I'll probably do? Let's jump right to the 4K storage. Can we do that? Would you guys be all right with that? I doubt you'll object too much. So to get 4K is not too bad. It is a 4K storage part, which is 3 1Ks. You're also going to need some basic processors and quartz enriched iron. Aren't you glad we started making more basic processors? They're in here. So now I should be able to make a 4K storage part. Basic processors? Oh, those are printed silicon. Basic processors are made with iron. Cool. So basically, printed basics processor, and then you combine this with your printed silicon and redstone. So the different processors, there's 3 types. Or 4 maybe? 4. 3, 4. 4? Yeah, 4. Basic processor, which is printed silicon, redstone, and the iron. Improved processor, which is printed silicon, redstone, and gold. And advanced, which is printed silicon, redstone, and diamond. Okay. There's also a couple cores. These things are slightly, they're upgrades of the basic processor. So just keep in mind that there's those 3 tiers of processor, and you'll be in pretty good shape. Cool. So we've got one of the basic processors we're going to need. We'll get the other 2 or 3 in a minute. What else do we need for a 4K storage part? That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Nice. So we're going to do our 4K storage part. So I just made a 4K storage part. We can use this to make a 16K storage part. We're going to do more of them. I'm going to hold off on that for now. We're going to make the 4K storage disk, okay, which is just redstone, quartz enriched iron, and glass. Cool. That goes inside your disk drive. Now this disk drive here has a little storage disk in it. You can even see it rendering right there. See? That's where it sits. It can now hold 4,000 items of any item. You can have as many items as you want in there as long as it's less than 4,000. I know that sounds silly, but that's the truth. We can add more disks. So if we had another 4K, we'd be able to hold 8,000 items total. If we had another 4K, we could have 12,000 items total, right? If we wanted to, we could create a 16K storage part and add it, and then we'd have 16K plus 4K, 20K, we could hold 20,000 items. You get the point, right? So this is going to basically store all our stuff. How do we interact with the stuff? We're going to need a grid. Grids are pretty cool. We need improved processors, and then we're going to need construction cores. Okay, so let's get a few more improved processors. I'm going to get like 8 of these things, and then let's go up to our first floor. Zoinks. And get some gold. Basement. Isn't this cool? I love it. I might want to, just for the sake of making it look cool. I think that looks better, right? Totally. So you're cooking up there. You start making gold. And then we're going to need quartz and glowstone, if I'm not mistaken. Because we're going to need a construction core, which is glowstone, and a destruction core, which is quartz. Let's just get, like, you know, a few of these. And back to the basement we go. Cool. So you've got this. Let's put some of this in here. You're making your improved processors, which is good. What else do we need for a grid? That's about it. That's about it. By the way, you can totally speed this up eventually. Promise. This is not this slow of a crafting mechanic forever. There are speed upgrades, which we will totally invest in. So here are your construction and destruction cores that are required for your grids. Construction, destruction. And then we'll get our printed circuits in a second here. Let's get some of my redstone ready to go. Cool, printed silicon. While you're cooking, let's get a machine casing, which we're going to require for the grid. Now we just need these 2 improved processors, and we're good to go. And now we're ready to craft. Grid. Nice. The grid can go pretty much anywhere on the setup. So all these things are sharing 2 things. Power and network connectivity. The controller is giving power and network connectivity to the disk drive, to the solderer, to the grid, all these things. And overall, it's using currently 9 RF a tick. It's really not doing much, but that's okay. We now have a grid. The grid is your access point into the system. We can store items in here by just clicking them inside, or shift clicking. And we can pull items out in much the same way. So if we throw 64 quartz enriched iron in here and look at the disk drive, you'll see that we're currently using 64 out of the 4,000 item storage that we have available. We can throw all kinds of stuff in there and have no problem storing all our goodies. Nice. And then we can pull this out and we're good to go. We're currently holding 386 items. So we're already 10% full. So keep in mind you're going to need probably a few more disk drives than we already have. But that's fine. We'll be good. Let's put away some stuff that we probably don't need right now. I don't need you. I don't need half this stuff. Let's go upstairs. Whee. Love that elevator. And it's cool because it's like, it's so blended in with my base. I'm just proud of that build. Sorry. It's very simple, I know, but it's neat. So good news. We have the very basic foundation of a refined storage system. There's way more to do. We're going to need to expand our disk storage, and then we're going to have to start migrating stuff out of here. And then we're going to have to start automating. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to wrap up the episode. For now, Daryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Let's Play series. Refined storage is our first option as it relates to fully automating item storage and production and crafting. Can't wait to get started automating all the things. For now, take it easy.